Hey, I'm M.A. Dozier with Nimrod Outdoors, and what we're going to show you today in this video is how to actually carve your deer, get the meat off, get the different sections of meat off to put in your cooler to either take to a processor or process yourself. Alright, well let's get started. First thing we're going to want to do is take care of the back straps, which are right along the spinal cord here. So what I like to do is make an incision right above the hip. Okay, then what you're going to do, you can feel the spinal cord right here. My knife's right in the middle of it. You want to come just to the inside of it on one side, angle your knife back to it, and start your cut all the way down. Make sure you hug that spinal cord all the way down. Your back strap actually goes all the way up into the neckline here. So from there, what you're going to do is, now that you got that cut, the back strap, once you get that cut, you'll start slicing on this end, but then it will just basically fall out. As you can see, it segments in there. So then, get your thumb up in there and just start carving it away. You'll feel the ribs up in there, and you just want to carve it as close to the ribs as you can. It's a little tough to get started, but once it gets started, like I said, it will just fall out. Alright, so now that it's started, you get your thumb on it, and what you're looking at here is you're going to make a cut here and a cut there. It's like a V channel that this back strap sits in. Cut there, cut there. And what I like to do is work the back strap back and forth, and it helps it just come on out. And as you can see, it's just kind of a channel. You'll get down in there and cut the very tip. And there's your first slice of meat. In the processing section, we'll tell you how to go from there, but this will be your steaks, your fried back strap. It's a very good quality steak meat. Now we move to the second one. Now that we got the back straps out, the next thing we want to do is take off the front shoulders and the neck. This shoulder over here is going to be completely shot. That's where I actually shot the deer. So we're just going to do this shoulder and the neck. But what you're going to want to do, pick up your Sawzall again, and right here at this elbow joint, just take it completely off like that. Then you'll take your knife, and here's your whole shoulder, and right in here kind of starts your rib meat. Just make an incision there. Deer do not have ball and joint front shoulder, so it's just a shoulder blade connected with meat. So you just come in behind it like that. And just keep taking the meat off like that. Now you have an entire front shoulder. You can put that in the cooler with ice. You do the same thing on the other side. Now with the neck, again, you bring your Sawzall. This is all good quality meat. One thing you'll have to do once you get it to the processing table is you will have to cut out the spinal cord, the esophagus, and all that. Now, if you take it to a processor, they take care of all that for you. Once you get through all the bone, it's best if you just take the knife and carve it on out. So you have a big solid chunk of meat. Like I said, you have to cut your windpipe out and your spinal cord and all that's in there. You'll have to take all that out once you go to process. All right, now that we got the neck and front shoulders off and the back straps out, what we're going to do is take care of a piece of meat that is small, but it is the best quality meat you'll ever have, and it's mostly overlooked. This being a buck, we got to take care of the testicles. You can just cut those right off. Some of y'all might eat those, but we do not in the Dozier household. So what you're going to do now, you need to be very careful because you have your guts, your intestines, your stomach all in here. But if you take your knife and you work it right in along these hips, okay, and you can get in there. This opens up the gut cavity. Okay. Now, this sweet meat sits right down in here. You want to take your fingers and kind of work your guts away from it. But what you're trying to get is this piece of meat right here my knife is touching. All that does is protect the spinal cord. It is the tenderest piece of meat you'll find in the entire deer. So if you could try and get all this junk off of it, then you'll take your knife, cut the top of it right there, and then just kind of work your knife back in behind it. And this is kind of like the back strap. Once you get it started, it should just kind of come out on its own. You can almost take your fingers and run in behind it and get it to break free. Again, you want to be very careful with your knife, not to cut any guts. But as you notice, I didn't gut this deer. The less I got to deal with gut-wise, the better, in my opinion. The only reason I gut a deer anymore is if I'm way back on public ground and I can't get it out. But that piece of meat right there is the tenderest piece of meat. You could even see the striations of how tender it is. You add butter, put that in a pan, you're good. There's two of those, there's one on the other side. So as long as you match it, you're good. All right, before we get these back hams taken care of, we're gonna get all the rib meat and any of the scrap meat that you see on the side. It's not really good for anything except for ground venison. It's perfect for that or jerky. But every little piece of meat is quality. So you could just take your knife and come up the side of the ribs. That's good jerky meat there. So any little trimming you can find, trust me, there's a ton of it on a deer and it all adds up. You got the trimmings off, we're going to take care of these back hams, but if we could get rid of all the weight we can, that'd be best. So we're going to take the Sawzall and just cut off the back and drop the main body cavity down. Just like that. Now that that's out of your way, what you want to do is open it up right here. You still have the urinary tract and still part of the intestines you got to be careful of and make sure you don't hit those. But you just open her up like this. Turn it around. Keep your cut coming around the back here. Like that.
Mommy, what are these?
Now what you're going to want to do is take your knife and get in here and try and get this rectum separated. Just like that. That's trash. That's taken care of. Okay. Alright, now that that's cleaned out, you can take your sawzall and you want to break this main hip bone here. Be careful of your urinary tract. Okay, once that's open, still attached right there. You could take your knife, slip down in there, and just cut that as close as you can. Then take the sawzall and recut down the other side. Alright, now that you have two hams here, this is where all that stuff, nasty stuff was. You could take your hand and clean it out. Also take your knife, get in there, clean it all out. It's all trash. Alright, once that's done, basically you have two back hams that can either go to the processor or you can process yourself. Generally what I do is take the ham, put it over the cooler like that, take the saws off, one big back ham. Second back ham, just like that. So now that I have all my meat in a cooler, I have ice in the bottom, but I'm going to keep piling ice on this thing, and I'll put the lid on it, and I will open the drain hole and angle this thing at a tilt and let the ice run over it. And you'll notice that over the course of some days, the water will turn from bloody to less bloody, and it is taking all the blood out of that meat. That takes a lot of the game taste out. We do that anywhere between 2 to 5 days. Some people do it longer, some people do it less. Just depends on if it was a big old buck or a doe or a yearling, whatever. You know, if you want to get that game taste out, that's one of the best ways to do it. One thing we did not do, a lot of people will actually gut the deer and take the heart. You can cook the heart, it's very good quality meat. Also, some people like to cut the tongue out and eat the tongue as well. That is a very good quality meat as well. We just did not do that on this video. But if you are afraid of the game taste of venison, one of the best ways to get rid of it is put it on ice for multiple days, keep ice on it, and allow that blood to drain out of the meat.